Across the facade of the New York City Post Office on 8th Avenue, a series of carved letters defines the mission of the modern courier. Neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. Most people know this as the unofficial creed of the US Postal Service, but these words were actually written 2,500 years ago by the Greek historian Herodotus. He was describing the Angarium, the state-run relay system of the Persian Empire. Managing this kind of speed was a necessity for a state of this scale. At its height, the Persian Empire covered 5 million square miles, stretching from the Balkans and Egypt in the west to the edge of India in the east. For the ancient world, this was a logistical problem without a clear solution. To keep such a diverse territory from fracturing, the empire needed something more reliable than just a large army. That stability was tested in 522 BCE. Cyrus the Great, the empire's founder, was gone, and his son Cambyses died shortly after a campaign in Egypt. Without a direct heir on the throne, the central government began to fail. According to later royal accounts, a priest named Gaumata seized power by impersonating the king's brother. Darius, a distant cousin of the royal line and an army officer, decided to intervene. Darius and a small group of 6 co-conspirators infiltrated the palace at night. They found the man they claimed was an imposter and assassinated him to restore the royal line. It is a convenient story for a man with a thin claim to the throne. Many historians suspect the imposter was actually the legitimate heir, and that Darius simply invented a conspiracy to justify his own coup. Whatever the truth, the empire didn't accept the new king quietly. The moment Darius took the crown, 19 separate rebellions broke out across the provinces. Darius spent a year crushing these revolts in the field, but he realized that a stolen throne couldn't be held by force alone. He had to create a new system of administration that made rebellion structurally impossible. His first move was to seize the narrative. He needed a way to broadcast his version of the coup as the only historical truth. He chose a massive limestone cliff at Mount Behistun, 330 feet above the main road between Babylon and the Median capital. There, he ordered workers to carve a permanent record of his victory. The relief shows a towering Darius with his foot on the false king, while 9 provincial rebel leaders stand in chains. Above floats the Phar of Ahar, representing the supreme god Ahura Mazda. Placing this symbol overhead broadcasted that his rule was divinely ordained. Once the work was finished, he had the workers destroy the stone ledges they used to reach the panel. The inscription became a psychological landmark, visible from the road, but physically unreachable and impossible to erase. Beyond propaganda, Darius reorganized the state, dividing the empire into 20 provinces called satrapies. As a safeguard, the local governor handled civil administration, but the military commander answered only to the king. This split power ensured neither could easily launch a coup. To monitor these officials, he deployed a network of royal inspectors, known as the eyes and ears of the king. These agents traveled across the provinces unannounced to audit accounts and watch for any signs of local unrest. He also standardized the economy. By introducing the Gold Daric, a universal currency featuring the king as an archer, he allowed trade to flow across thousands of miles without the friction of local barter systems. Finally, he replaced absolute military terror with a policy of cultural autonomy. As long as they paid their taxes, conquered nations could keep their own religions and laws, a move that made Persian rule far more tolerable than the empires that came before. Darius realized that integrated trade and local religious freedom were more effective for long-term control than ruling by the sword. Ultimately, he turned a fractured territory into a functioning machine. This administrative model established the template for large-scale governance that would influence empires for the next several centuries. From the Seleucids to the Romans, the techniques of regional autonomy and centralized oversight became the standard for ruling multi-ethnic states. In the 1830s, this ancient record found a new purpose. A British officer named Henry Rawlinson spent years scaling the cliff at Behistun to copy the inscriptions, often dangling from ropes to reach the text. To ensure his message was understood, Darius had his scribes engrave the story in 3 different languages: Old Persian, Elamite, and Babylonian. Because scholars already understood a portion of Old Persian, they were able to use the Behistun panel to compare the three versions. By matching known words from the Persian text to the unknown Babylonian and Elamite symbols, they reconstructed the rules for the dead languages. It is the ultimate historical irony. In his effort to secure a stolen throne through propaganda, Darius accidentally provided the bridge back to the ancient Near East, giving us the ability to read thousands of years of recorded history that had been lost for centuries.